Hello and welcome to the Q&A edition of the Cosmetics Business Podcast. I'm Sarah Parsons.
And I'm Julia Wray. Hey Sarah, how are you?
I'm all good. This is actually going to be my last podcast recording.
Oh, well, for very good reasons, obviously.
For very good reasons. I'm going on maternity leave, and so I will be up in my ears with nappies and so on and so forth. But yeah.
I hope you'll take the time to listen to the podcast while you are changing nappies in future.
I will. It's going to be the most amazing background listening. How are you?
I'm good. I have just come back actually from Luxe Pack in Monaco, which has been absolutely fantastic. Written up the report, so go on Cosmetics Business and have a read if you haven't read it already. Lots of things going on in the beauty packaging premium industry. Lots of exciting developments there. So yeah, but I guess, that ties in very nicely to our question, right?
It does indeed. And so we had a question come in from @Charlie181, and they've asked, what advice do you have for any first-time trade show attendees? Well, as you've just come back from one, what are your top tips?
I have so many. Grab a pen. Start recording. So first of all, the best recommendation or best base size, what kind of a trade show is it? Because they're all a little bit different. Some will require almost all pre-booked appointments. So typically TFWA, which is in Cannes, it is a duty-free trade show. That one, to talk to brands, you will need to pre-book an appointment. The stands are they're very hard to access. Similar thing, for example, with Makeup in Paris. A lot of the smaller booths, but a lot of them are curtained. So you are going to want to pre-book or at least at the very least peer below the curtain and be like, hi, I really want to talk to you. And others are maybe better for just wandering around, hopping onto booths and talking to people and meeting people who you've not met before. So one of my recommendations, big time, would be attendee lists. Do your research before you go. So have a look at the attendee lists. Have a look at what the activations and educational seminars are. Because that is actually something that is really great at trade events they're often free. Some of them are free, but they're often free. So, get an idea of who it is you want to see. So it also depends on, so you mentioned first time ones. And for a first timer, I would recommend a lot of the things that journalists do, to be honest. You're trends hunting. So what we are, we will go to an event and we will trend hunt. So for example, who's a new exhibitor to that trade show? Why are they breaking into the industry now? Does that denote something that you should be hopping onto and being the first person to either get the scoop if you're a journalist, or if you are, looking to build a business, or you're new, is this something that you should be a part of? Of course, if you're a brand, or if you're representing a brand on a particular team, obviously what you're there for will then have an effect on what it is you want to do. So if you're, for example, a mature and established brand, you might want in-depth meetings to set the groundwork for things like eventual purchase. So go in with an idea of what you need. Know your project, know your budget, volumes, because that will determine, if an exciting new active is there and you can get it, or if it's out of your project scope. It's like, I wouldn't go house hunting, right? I was obviously in Monaco. It'd be a waste of my time to go house hunting in Monaco because everything is out of my budget. But a 2-bed flat in, Bristol, that could be my remit. So, this is the kind of thing that you need to be thinking if you're there for a brand. There's no point in having a great conversation of finding out, spending half an hour finding out all this stuff and then realizing that it's never going to happen.
Yes.
So know what your project is, and then you know what to target.
Yes. And I would say, so I go to Cosmoprof Bologna pretty much every year. So that's
The beast.
That's my home ground. Cosmoprof is an events company, and they have beauty industry events all around the world, in America and in Asia. But the one in Italy, in Bologna, is considered their flagship. It's the biggest.
And to be honest, if we're talking about the beauty industry as a whole, it is the flagship beauty show. If you go to any beauty show, as somebody in the industry, it should be Cosmoprof Bologna. Yeah,
it would be. And because they have it's almost divided into two, really. You have the brands section, the finished brands, and that's if you're a distributor, there's targeting influencers now. But if you're a distributor, if you're a retailer, you will go and explore the brands. And then if you are a brand, you'll go to the supply section with the packaging and the ingredients guys. And a little fun tip that I picked up on the back of what Julia was saying about making your appointments, particularly with the ingredients guys, make your appointments before you go. You're going to do that anyway. So you go in these beautiful booths, and I can't have the words to describe how beautiful these booths are. There's
so much money. I mean, the actually getting the floor space alone goes into that. But these
It's
booths,
$600 per square meter with nothing on it. So that's like with nothing. So that's an enormous amount of money spent on this. And so if you arrange an appointment with one of your suppliers, arrange it about lunchtime. Because they will have food. And I have seen pizza ovens in these stands. I have seen
cookies being baked. I've seen that. Yeah.
So arrange it around mealtime or particularly the end of the day, because that's when the Aperol Spritz will come up.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And a lot of these ones will have something lovely. Yeah, say Aperol Spritz, champagne, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What I think actually, and as an add-on to what you're saying about booking, have a look at the floor plan of where you are. Obviously in Cosmoprof, it makes a big difference if you book something and then you book your next meeting for somewhere that is, you have to go in a golf cart to get to. I once made the mistake of, there was an In Cosmetics, that's a big ingredients trade show, a European one. I made the mistake of one in Excel London and forgetting that Excel is the longest, thinnest trade show hall of all time. I was wearing heels. I was walking back and back again and back again and back. Oh my God. And it took me 10 minutes to get between booths. What a waste. So I really should have, rather than just planning my schedule, I should have based it completely on the layout. Some halls that's not a problem, but others it is. So, and the other thing is make sure you stay long enough. Cosmoprof especially, book and budget your stay for the requisite length if it's an absolute beast, and also break down what you want to see day by day. So, for example, if you're a packaging bar, you'll probably be doing a business in Cosmopack, but you'll definitely want to go into the pavilion, so a bit of inspiration as well. So make sure that when you talk to whoever's, if you're booking yourself or if you're talking to whoever's booking in your team, that you make sure that you have factored in the time.
Yeah, and wear comfortable shoes.
Oh my God, 100%. Wear comfortable shoes. And also, here's a tip. Obviously, for journalists, bring pens, paper, recording devices, phone portable battery chargers, all of these things. They're essentials for us, but I think they're also damn useful for everyone else as well. You're gonna want your notes. You're gonna speak to so many people over that period if you're doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, on day 3, you'll forget who you spoke to first thing on day 1. It will be a blur. It'll be yesterday's you. Like what happened?
Take
what
pictures of everything. Like take a picture of everything, so you can remember who you saw on what day.
Absolutely,
because it is a big blur. And
take business cards if you do business cards, or just be prepared to join a lot of people on Instagram and LinkedIn as well.
This is true. And also on the note of business cards, shows like Cosmoprof have brands and companies from all over the world. So you are facing lots of different cultures. And so you're potentially doing business with people from lots of different cultures. So perhaps just do some quick research on how to, for example, accept a business card from someone who's from East Asia.
Absolutely. 2 hands. Look at it. Do not just kind of whip it away and pop it in your pocket.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's seen as culturally rude to do that.
Absolutely.
So definitely, absolutely.
It's those kind of small details that make all the difference, and to ease your, the start of your business journey together.
Absolutely. And I mentioned going to the seminars and stuff. That for me is such a fantastic thing. If you're new to the industry, it's a great place to start. And it's generally useful regardless of experience. But if you are a new person to the industry, check out beforehand if they're free or if they're paid. That is a big one. That goes to the event generally, because some events are paid. And so, you pay for them and some aren't. Look at what you're interested in and then put that into your itinerary of meetings, because it's a great opportunity to get to hear what the experts are saying.
Yeah. And remember, they are experts, so that you are there for business. Leave politics at home. I say,
oh my God, so much so.
Yeah, I say that this year, for example, we've had the tragedies that have happened with Palestine and Israel, and people decided to bring that up quite a bit with the Palestinian brands, and the Palestinian brands were very annoyed because we are here to do business. Yes, and they're like, we are here to do business. Please do not give us the sympathy vote or anything like that, because that does not build long-term relationships, that does not build returning customers. So leave politics at home, people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, leave that at home.
Mm-hmm. And on similar vein to that, these are very busy shows. People of all levels of businesses will be there. So whether you are an attendee, but this is also important for first-time exhibitors, is you do not know who you are speaking to. Lots of people wear name tags. Lots of people don't. But also you won't actually perhaps know the name of that organization or recognize its significance. So be polite and respectful to everyone. I shouldn't have to say that, but you'd be amazed how many people are incredibly rude to you.
No, absolutely every single person. And it can be daunting going up to a stand where it's absolutely chock-a-block full of people. Do not feel embarrassed about being a lemon waiting around. You know, when you see somebody who comes free, a little bit like a parking space, smile, look polite. Somebody will come over to you. And as Sarah said, it could be the CEO of the company, or it could be a new starter from last week. Treat them with respect. And generally, if you have an idea of, obviously, if you know exactly who it is you want to speak to, fantastic. If you know their face, it makes it easier. If you know their name but not their face, then you can ask them, and that's a fabulous way to be introduced. But if you don't, for example, for us, hi, could I speak to somebody who deals with the media and marketing? Or, whatever aspect it is, could I, purchasing, sales, whatever it might be, whatever person you need to speak to, just politely ask that lady or gentleman who happens to have seen you floating around the side of the stand looking hopeful and has been polite enough to come over to you and introduce themselves.
And speaking of being polite, one of the biggest tips I got from my first ever trade show was be careful of what you say outside of the trade show. So whether you are...
on the coaches, oh dear, what happened?
Well, on the coaches, on the planes, on restaurants, because often with these trade shows, the whole towns get taken over by attendees. So many of the restaurants you'll be going into the evenings, they will be full of attendees as well. So be careful of what you say, because beauty, whilst is a big industry, is small enough that you could be accidentally insulting somebody.
Absolutely. And do behave yourselves. If you're known as the very raucous, drunken people from XYZ, then that does stick as well. Yeah.
But also just have fun. I mean, they're busy, they're tough, but you do leave feeling shattered, like your holiday, but on a high.
But there's nothing like it. I mean, where else are you going to have that many interactions with that many people, build that many relations, see that many things, discover stuff? It is, from a journalist perspective, it's fantastic. And, where I started in my brand, it would be my first port of call.
I think that's all we have time for today. And so this will be my last episode, but the team will be back next week with more delicious insight. And so I'm going to be looking forward to listening to it. And I hope you all do as well. We will be recording more Q&A episodes, so keep them coming in and send us a message on the normal podcast platforms, social media, or email cosmetics@hbcimedia.com.
So a huge thank you to Sarah for all her fantastic podcasting this year, and best of luck with the next step in your journey. So thank you for listening, guys, and we'll see you all next week.
See you next week. Well, I won't, but the rest of the team will. And in the meantime, stay up to date with the latest beauty industry news, trends, and analysis by subscribing to cosmeticsbusiness.com.